I like working in Glendale the most because it's a smaller department, even though we're completely surrounded by Denver. I like working here because it's smaller and the people that we work with are extremely experienced, and so we have a quick reaction platform to deal with any incident that comes up. And so I think I like the size of it and the quickness of our ability to engage any incident that we have to deal with.
The reason I became a police officer was I wanted, at the end of my career, to feel like I did something that mattered, that made a difference. I didn't want to spend time in an office and then, at the end of the, 30, 40 years, all I did was, make profits for the company. So I wanted to feel like I could have something I look back on and was proud of. What I like most about Glendale versus other cities is, it's a tiny town, but it's in the middle of like a metropolitan area. So you get all the, exciting stuff that you see on TV, guns, drugs, gangs, that sort of thing. But you also have this small town feel where, you know the mayor and the chief of police, and you talk to them on a daily basis, and you have this tight-knit kind of camaraderie and brotherhood.
What I love most about working in Glendale is I grew up in Glendale. So for me, it was like coming back home to be a police officer and to work with the community I grew up in and the community I knew really well. And so I was serving the people who took care of me as I grew up.
Concierge policing means to me to not just think of this job as fighting crime, it's also connecting with people, building a good rapport with people, helping people out, take time out of your day to stop and talk and say hi and have a conversation.
I specifically chose Glendale for the fact that it was smaller. I'm used to working in the small unit dynamics from the military. I didn't want to be a number. I know some larger agencies, which are great agencies, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of number games that go on. Sometimes you don't even know the people you're working with, and you cross paths and you're like, oh, you're in a different district, and I didn't even know we worked together for the last 10 years and stuff like that. So that was one of the big selling points of Glendale. I don't like the interstate traffic, so I don't have to deal with that, which is it's a little weird quirk of mine, but that's part of it. So just the small unit family dynamic is really what sold me on it, and it continues to sell me on it. Everybody has their own families. We have their own priorities. Work is supposed to be work. Home is supposed to be home. But when we're here, we take care of each other. We look after each other. We know each other, and we know each other's families for the most part. We know exactly what your kids are doing, what they're doing, and I think that's the most important thing.
I became a police officer because I like to help people. I mean, I've been involved with customer service for every job that I've had, and being a police officer gives me that ability to do that times 100. I get to be out in the public, and they see me, and I can help them with their issues.
So concierge policing means to me is it's more kind of like service to the community. So you're not just, law enforcement. We're not out here trying to punish people. We're out here trying to serve people. Even though we make an arrest on somebody, they think it's the end of their life or end of the road for them. It's an opportunity for them to get back and kind of get back to being even. Concierge policing for the community is trying to help them out, trying to figure out what's happening, how we can address that, and how we can kind of build a relationship and a bridge to affect that change.
What makes Glendale different than other places that I've worked? The span of control, right? And not in a bad way. Here you have access to policy that's being written. You have access to make recommendations to change things. You have the ability to affect change that you see, fairly quickly. So that's what makes it different to me is the ability to say like, hey, I think that's a good idea, and then the process, put it through the process, and then it gets implemented as as an action. What is the best part about being a Glendale police officer? For me, it's being in tune with the city. Infinity Park, I never even heard it, I didn't think rugby was a thing before I came here. Now I enjoy it, so I kind of renege a little bit, like when I work the off-duty here for the rugby games, I enjoy watching it when I can. I've brought my kids here to watch the games, and they've enjoyed it on my days off. So just being in tune with the city, and everything the city has to offer, the movie nights, everything else. The departments really commingle very well together, so I think that's the best part.